With us now is Vince. Welcome to the show. You have like a technology company. Is that how you would describe it? An analytic company? What is it that you do?
Yeah, well, I don't have it. I don't own it. I work there.
You participate fully, though, every day of your life.
It's my company. No, so, Rich, it's yours, not mine. So we deal with audience data in a slightly different way than, let's say, like companies like a Nielsen or a Comscore or a Samba or a TiVo. There's no shortage of them, and they're all really good assets. But typically, a lot of the data is very platform specific or very advertising centric, whereas our data is much more platform agnostic, and we describe the relationship that people have to content. So, like, what titles are people binging on Netflix in the U.S.? What are they binging on Netflix in Germany or in Brazil or on HBO Max or on broadcast? What movies do they want to see? So we deal with viewing intent and then actual behavioral stuff. And then the other side of the company, because that's just the data side, the other side of the company is we take really disparate processes. Like, think spreadsheet hell, right? Like everybody, like if you're dealing with avails out or avails in, everybody's dealing with multiple spreadsheets and it's a pain. And so we just create a centralized platform to help streamline their business. Before WIP, I was with Comscore, I started with Rentrack, and then Comscore acquired Rentrack. Before that, I did independent film distribution. So I built and ran the digital distribution division of a company that was a big indie back then. They're no longer around as indies come and go. But it was Millennium Entertainment. I started off it was First Look Media back in the day.
What do you love best about working at WIP?
So what I really like is what we are focused on is sort of seeing the problems of tomorrow with licensing and content decisioning. And so, like, I get to work with content and like what are the most binged titles? What's content affinity between like people who are watching Stranger Things and what are they watching on Hulu? And understanding that relationship that people have to content and like emotion profiles. And I'm back to, even though I'm not distributing content, yes. I'm back to sort of, in a way, working with evaluating content. So that's really cool. That's because then you can always have a conversation about like, well, do you know this about this title? And it's always a good conversation starter.
And that helps content creators as well as streamers, because that will help them give their audience, I guess, satisfaction.
Yeah, you have to understand, like, again, right now, if you're a content like programmer, right, or any sort of role where you have to evaluate content, like, I need to acquire, or I need to sell, or I need to program. You're working with those existing data sets, like the Nielsen's and the Comscores and the Summas, that are, again, great data sets. Use them for advertising. That's what they were built for. Don't use them for content evaluation. Right? If you need to understand the relationship that content has to audiences across all platforms, that's not what those data sets were built for. So use us for that, right? So it's really great. It's the kinds of conversations, the really engaging, geeky, but also just very passionate conversations that we have with people about content. Very, very fun.
And what was it about today that made it so good for your company to be able to be a sponsor here today?
So it was a great turnout, first of all. People were really enthusiastic. We had a lot of really great conversations with people. I think part of it is NatP and the format and the platform it provides. I think part of it is, people are still just getting back out into the world, at least en masse, like at big events like this. And there's that enthusiasm and that I think people are bringing to a lot of these events. So it's been great, and I've appreciated participating on the panel. It's been wonderful. It's been great show.
We've been living it up right here. Stay tuned for more.